Greetings students, welcome to class 10th Geography Chapter 6 Manufacturing Industries. This is Poonam from Birla Vidya Niketan. In this module, you will learn about manufacturing industries. The subtopics of the chapter are significance of manufacturing, contribution of industries to the national economy, factors which are responsible for the growth of industrial location, classification of industries, spatial distribution with the reference to agro-based and mineral-based industries in India, industrial pollution and environmental degradation, and lastly, control of environmental degradation. After the end of this video, the students will be able to analyze the significance of manufacturing, differentiate between the various types of industries, understand the factors determining industrial locations in India, appreciate the role of industries in the economy of the country. So students, let us start with our chapter Manufacturing Industries. We will start this chapter with the help of these images. Right now, we are connected either with the mobile or using a laptop. You write down your paper with the help of pen. We use cloths and some diyas are there. The question is from where these things come from. This is what your morning newspaper is printed on. Not the wood, but the paper manufactured from it. This flowchart will help you to understand how wood is used as a raw material to manufacture more valuable paper in large quantities. For example, sugar is made up of sugarcane, which is derived from the agricultural sector and a part of a primary sector. At times, manufactured goods also act as a raw material for another industry. For example, cotton yarn is manufactured using raw cotton. The cotton yarn is then used as a raw material to manufacture cotton textiles. From all the examples, we may conclude that manufacturing is something from the another thing. What is manufacturing? Production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products is called manufacturing. In this chapter, we are mainly concerned with the manufacturing industries which fall in the secondary sector. The economic strength of a country lies in the development of manufacturing industries because of the following reasons. Manufacturing industries help in modernizing agriculture, which forms the backbone of our economy. Secondly, it reduces the heavy dependence of people on the agricultural sector and creates jobs in secondary and tertiary sectors. It is necessary for the removal of unemployment and poverty, which will bring down regional disparities. Export of manufactured goods expands trade and commerce and enhances prosperity. It brings much needed foreign exchange, which will help our economy to rise. Rise in GDP will help in the growth and boom in the economy. Manufacturing industries have contributed 17% to our GDP, which is quite less with comparison to East Asian economies. It is a serious matter of concern, so here comes the role of the government. Government have set up NMCC. NMCC, the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, has been set up with the objective of improving national productivity through proper policy interventions by the government and renewed efforts by the industry. Let us understand the factors which are responsible for the growth of industrial location. The first important factor is the availability of land. The site that is selected for the establishment of an industry must be flat and well served with adequate transport facilities. Next, raw materials are one of the important factors in the industrial location. The mere location of industries itself may be determined by the availability or location of the raw materials. Power is a necessary for any industrial establishment. Availability of water is another factor that influences the industrial location. Many industries are established near rivers, canals, lakes because of this reason. Iron and steel industry, textile industries, and chemical industries require large quantities of water for their proper functioning. The climate of the area selected for the industry is important. It should not be very harsh climate or not suitable for the successful industrial growth. These all factors can be broadly grouped into the category we call it as physical factors. Now we are moving to the human factors. Availability of labor, whether skilled or unskilled, is the success mantra for the growth of all industries. Availability of easy transportation always influences the location of the industry. So, the junction points of waterways, roadways, and railways become humming centers of the industrial activity. Lastly, the finished goods should reach the market at the end of the process of manufacturing. Thus, nearness to the market is an add-on quality in the process of selecting a location for industry. We discussed about the factors which are responsible for the growth of industrial location. And one thing is quite common that for manufacturing activity, it tends to locate at the most appropriate place where all the factors of the industrial location are either available or can be arranged at lower cost. Here comes the growth of agglomeration economy. This concept is important with reference to CBSC. After an industrial activity starts, it triggers urbanization, industrialization. Urbanization go hand in hand. We can conclude that cities which provide markets and also provide services such as banking, insurance, transport, laborers, consultants, and financial advice. They become industrial or urban centers which can be converted into agglomeration economies. Industries can be classified on the basis of the following parameters. Firstly, on the basis of the sources of raw materials used, industries can be further classified as agro-based and mineral-based industries. Secondly, according to their main role, industries can be divided as basic industries or consumer industries. Thirdly, on the basis of capital investment, it can be further classified as small scale industries and large scale industries. Fourthly, on the basis of ownership, industries can be further classified into four major groups. The first one is public sector industries, private sector industries, joint sector industries, and cooperative sector. Last one, on the basis of the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods, industries can be further classified as heavy industries and light industries. Let us compare the two types of industries on the basis of sources of raw material. Agro-based industries are those industries which are using agricultural product as their raw material. For example, cotton, woolen industry, jute textiles, silk, rubber, and sugar. On the other hand, mineral-based industries are those industries which obtained raw materials only from the minerals, such as iron and steel, cement, aluminium, petrochemical industries, and so on. According to their main role, industries can be further classified as basic industries and consumer industries. Industries which supplies their raw materials or products to manufacture other goods are considered as basic industries. For example, iron and steel industries. Consumer industries are those industries that produce goods for direct use by the customers, like sugar, toothpaste, paper, fans, machines, etc. Here are the two images of the industries. Students, on the basis of the first image, we can draw the conclusion that this is an image which stands for small-scale industries. Whereas the second image, it basically focuses on the large-scale industries. The difference between small-scale and large-scale industries are basically on the basis of capital investment. If the investment is less than 1 crore, then it is known as small-scale industry. For example, sugar industry, gur or khandsari. Whereas if the investment is more than 1 crore, then it is known as large-scale industry. For example, cotton textiles. On the basis of ownership, industries can be further classified into four major groups. Public sector industries are those industries which are owned and operated by government agencies like BHEL and SAIL SAIL. Whereas private sector industries are those industries which are owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. For example, we have Reliance, Tisco, Bajaj Auto Limited, and so on. Joint sector industries are those industries which are jointly run by the state and individuals or a group of individuals. For example, Oil India Limited. Whereas cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials. They pool in the resources and share the profit or losses proportionately. Such examples are sugar industry in Maharashtra, Amul in Gujarat. Students, do not get confused with the first and the last category of industries. The first category is on the basis of the sources of raw materials used, that is, agro-based and mineral-based, whereas the fifth category or the last category is based on the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. Heavy industries are those industries which use heavy or bulky raw materials and produce heavy materials, like iron and steel industries, whereas light industries are those industries which use light raw materials and produce light materials. For example, electric fans, watches, bulb, etc.